Good morning.
Morning.
We're getting down to the end of our candles. We just have a couple left. And today we're going to talk about the faith of Bahai. Now, my first experience with the Bahai faith was when I was in my 20s. And she actually happened to be a nursery school teacher for my children, and also became a friend of mine. And this woman emanated peace and love like I had never experienced up to that point in my life. I knew that when I was in her presence that it was okay. Whatever it was, whatever was going on, it was okay. I was okay. And I always thought, I want that. I want that. You know, and so it's always been kind of a hanging out there. Someday I'm going to explore this. And so this week I had the opportunity to really kind of immerse myself and explore what do Baha'is believe, and what is the foundation of their beliefs, and how does that relate to unity? So one of the things that I wanted to say about these religions that you know, we light the candles for, and that we have explored over the course of this year, is I got this vision about like a banquet table, a big old banquet table. And the divine invited all the religions to bring their flavor, so to speak, their specialty to the banquet table. And we all got to sit around and be at the banquet table. And some, you know, I mean, think about it. When you go to a potluck, you walk around the table and you go, I want that, I don't want that, I want that. And it's not that that's bad. It's just, today I don't want that. That's really kind of the foundation of the Baha'i faith. The Baha'i faith, one of the things that they really believe in is, it says, Baha'is accept the divine nature of the missions of Abraham, Moses, Zoroaster, the Buddha, Jesus, and the Prophet Muhammad. They believe each one was a further stage in the revelation of God. Other prophets and manifestations are also accepted. So it's like everybody's welcome to the table. Everybody's welcome to the table. Another one of their beliefs is that Baha'is believe in the oneness of humanity and devote themselves to the abolition of racial, class, and religious prejudices. So, I want to ask a question. I'm going to dare to ask a question. So, are you prejudiced? Only politically.
You didn't mention that one, I just thought I would.
Actually, we don't call it prejudice anymore, we call it bias. We have unconscious biases. I mean, because you think about it, when something happens and you kind of have that little twinge, your body kind of reacts. That's an unconscious bias showing up. And so that's part of the practice of the spiritual tradition. Part of the practice of the spiritual tradition is to release those unconscious biases that are all around us. I mean, if you own a television set, a radio, a computer, or anything else, and you're not living in a cave in India, secluded away from absolutely everybody and everything, then, and even then you probably are affected by it. We're all affected by it. But one of the things that they talk about in this teaching of oneness is they talk about that we are here. I love this, that we are here to develop our spiritual maturity. That's what they believe, that we are here, that we incarnated onto this planet of experience and creativity in order to develop our spiritual maturity. And so, and I love that they actually use that word, because you guys have heard me use that word. And so I love that they actually use that word of being spiritually mature, and that we are all on this journey of unfolding. That we're constantly unfolding and unfolding in greater ways in order to really step into that knowing, not just knowing the presence as a separate entity that is out there, but knowing that the presence and we are one. That God is, I am. God is, I am. And so they really honor this idea of equality, even the equality of women. Because that wasn't listed in the quote that I used, but in the readings that I did, it was even the equality of women. And so when we think about those things, and think about the teachings of oneness, to me, that just really comes right back to Unity's first basic principle. One presence, one power, active in the universe and in my life. God, good, omnipotent. Now, this first principle has sometimes been misunderstood and misinterpreted as anything that is happening that I don't call good in the moment, is an illusion. It's pretend. It's just of this world, and I'm not of this world. So it doesn't pertain to me. The principle actually says that there is one presence and one power, and that presence is good, meaning that there is not an opposite presence that is against it. There is no devil that is making you do it. Okay, you don't get to go, oh, the devil made me do it. It's full responsibility. Full 100% responsibility. We are the ones who do the perception of good and bad. We label it good, label it bad. And the most recent thing that I can think of that it could be an example of this is the pandemic. So when the pandemic first started, it was bad. Oh, this is bad. But if there's one presence and one power, then what am I calling bad? Where's the good in it? Where's the good in it? So when we think about the good and we look for the blessing, it reminds me of the little story of the little boy in the barn, and he's shoveling manure, and his dad comes in and goes, "Son, what are you doing?" And he says, "With all this manure, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere." He's looking for the good. And sometimes don't we have that manure in our lives? I mean, don't we feel like we get just a little bit of stuff that we would like to get rid of, shovel out. But when we look for the good, when we look for that good, we can find the good. So I want to take a moment and share with you the good that came out of the pandemic for me. The good that came out of the pandemic for me was a realization of my strength. The realization of my ability to be flexible. The realization that I can learn new things quickly. Because I had to, I mean, literally in 1 week, in less than a week, I had to figure out how to put this ministry on Zoom and get the word out and do all that. I didn't do it alone, but I could have helped. But I had to learn how to do that. Resilience is another gift that came out of the pandemic for me. Is a sense of knowing my resilience. And there was a humility that came out of it and a compassion. Because there were people in my life, you know, and I'm sure that many of you may have experienced this too, you know, the war between the mask and the no mask, the vaccines and the no vaccines. You know, that we had people that were close to us that were, shall we say, on the other side of the fence. I learned to put my fence down. Let my fence down so that they could do whatever they needed to do for them. And I got to do whatever I needed to do for me. And it wasn't about right or wrong, but it was about having compassion for where they're at in this moment. But there is always good that comes about. Baha'is believe that there is only one religion, which is the religion of God. The different faiths we see in the world are different approaches to that religion. From the beginning, Baha'u'llah taught that the great world religions are different conceptions of and reactions to the same divine reality. I remember when I was a child, I have no idea what the circumstances were around this. I just remember the conversation. My mother and I were having a conversation, and I must have said something unkind about another religious faith. Because she said to me, she said, no one has the whole truth. No one has the whole truth. Each faith has different aspects of the truth. And together, if we allowed it to be together, that we would be able to see a much broader picture. That none of us can hold the vastness of God. That God is so vast that none of us can hold that vastness. And so we practice a faith that is close to what we can hold. Excuse me. It's true that we can all only hold so much. So much of the truth. And that we're continually on this unfolding journey. And we get to experience more and more the more that we unfold. What is the ultimate goal of life for Baha'i? Baha'u'llah teaches that the only true and enduring happiness for human beings lies in the pursuit of spiritual development. Baha'u'llah explained that the fundamental spiritual role of religion is to enable people to achieve a true understanding of their own nature and of God's will and purpose for them. Does not sound a little bit like unity? We're all here to unfold and develop our spiritual potential using spiritual principles. And that's another thing that the Baha'is do, is they talk about spiritual principles and learning to use those spiritual principles in this world. That we are governed by the laws of the world in the sense of the law of gravity holds me to the floor. I am so grateful for the law of gravity. So, you know, and no matter how much I affirm that the law of gravity does not affect me, we all hope it does.
Yes, we do.
Because I'm not really wanting to float out in space.
Yeah.
So we're bound by these spiritual laws. We're bound by that which is continually, you know, and we understand them at deeper levels. I'll say it that way. We understand them at deeper levels at different times. The Baha'is are one of the things that is very important to Baha'is is social action. It's not just about me. Not just about me, and I'm going to get really holy, and I'm going to spiritually develop and spiritually mature, and good luck to the rest of you. That they really see our interconnection with each other, that we are all connected. And that goes back to that piece of equality. So they do a lot of social action. They're very much into social action. Very much into what is it that they are being called. And that's part of this, the will of God and purpose for their life. They believe they are being called to do something, not just to hang out and, you know, play. And so to do something. So one of the things that I realized is that when we look at the world, as we look at the world and we look at all that is going on in the world, it can be overwhelming. I mean, where do I support? I can't do it all. There's no way. So I thought about, how do I know what is mine to do and what is not mine to do? It's that little tug in my heart. Feel my heart open up. And I feel a call within me to do something about that. Because think about it. We've got global warming. We've got, so there's the whole ecosystem and caring for the planet, cleaning up the ocean, animals that don't have families or homes to live in. We've got children that are starving and some of them are homeless. We have adults who are homeless. We have so much going on in the world where we could reach out to our fellow man and woman, be there for them, or any sentient being, or the planet itself. How will we know? Because if we think about all the needs, well, I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to fight, flight, or freeze, mine is sit down. So if I'm in a place where I'm just in that place of too much, it's too much, then, you know, then we don't do anything. So it's really about learning to listen within ourselves and asking ourselves the question, consciously asking ourselves the question, what is mine to do? What am I being called to do? What am I called to bring to this world? Because I incarnated into this world to bring a gift to this world. What is my gift? So what am I bringing to the world? Where is it that I give to the world? And then to answer that call, even with a little teeny step, and see what happens. Just answer it with a little teeny step. Now, the other thing I'm going to say is that sometimes the call changes. At one time, the call may be to help clean up the oceans, and you do that. And then something else may come up, and you're called to help in a different way, or to be present in a different way. So it's really about learning to listen to ourselves. And to me, that's much of what our spiritual development is about. It's about learning to listen to the still small voice that is always, always speaking to us. So let's do that now. Let's take some time and just center ourselves in the ever-present awareness. God is. I am. God is. I am. Breathing into that awareness, breathing into that truth, and allowing that truth to resonate through every cell of our being. God is. I am. In that awareness, we recognize God is. You are. God is. You are. Whoever that you is, can be that person in your life that has the uncanny ability to push a button. God is. You are. God is. We are. God is. We are. That collectively as a community, we express more of the fullness of the divine presence. That we honor each other and each other's expression of the divine. We hold the truth of wholeness. We hold the truth of harmony and balance. we hold the truth that divine love is unfolding ever more deeply and wide, deeper and wider in our consciousness, moment by moment, empowering us to see the good, we ask at this moment, what is mine to do? What have I come here to do? Knowing that this truth is being revealed to us in this moment and in the moments to come. Opportunities arise in our lives for us to be the presence of God for someone else. So we give thanks. We truly give thanks in this very moment for all that is, for all the good that is right now and all the good that is coming our way. Deep and abiding appreciation and gratitude. From that consciousness, we say amen.